Alright, so here I have the bottom taken apart, which is nice and easy with these. It actually has screws and no foam, so plate comes off. I'm just sort of still surveying right now as far as what should be done. What I can see as far as the gears, I don't know, it's hard for the camera to focus. It's still not really wanting to focus back in there. So it seems like the gearbox is actually in really good shape. I'm looking at that little like transparent gearbox in front. I'm trying to get it to focus on it, but basically in the middle of the screen there. It seems like the grease on it is fine, so I would not recommend trying to pull it down just because I'll have to forcefully remove this, the gate, is basically they glue the gate unit into the front, and with this hard resin stuff, this one seems actually extremely bad as far as the resin goes, because it's actually seeping out here, which is not normal. Usually these, are just windows, but the heat resins actually seeped through from the back when they were doing it. So that means it'll be very tricky to try and actually get this plastic part out. So I still have to survey if it'll be possible. I think I might barely be able to do the fiber optic modification without removing that, because it would just be ideal to not have to actually remove the front gate. It's sort of in the back. I don't know if you can actually see. Seems the camera doesn't want to focus on anything in the back. It's up behind the motors, basically. I'll try and see if I can get more video later. But very carefully pulling out all these wires on this computer board. And you can sort of see the little blinking light. Like way back in here. So that's where the fiber optics are. And I think on mine, what I did is I was able to get a heat gun in there and carefully rip off the old lights and then try and stick in the new LEDs with some hot glue while the hot glue's warm, so I didn't have to damage these little seams that are in the front, because again, those are secured with the hot resin. I'll see. I'm pretty sure though on mine I did have to remove the front gate for some sort of service I was doing on mine. I can't remember because it's been a while. I should go watch my old videos, but we'll see on that. As far as the wires go, they all seem to be intact and in good shape. They always are kind of a mess on these older buildings. Luckily, the lights are in good working condition right now. And what'll be nice actually about adding on the additional Arduino and the pixel LEDs here is that they'll suck more power. because unfortunately with the way they manufacture these, sometimes the older buildings, they run the LEDs too bright for their own good, and so they end up dying prematurely, and then they have to be replaced, which is what happened on the Madame Ashbury house a lot, because they had all these yellow lights and they were running them too hot, and then they'd burn out. So we'll see. Something I was gonna mention though is up in the back. With that same clear, I'll just go ahead and turn this off. Again, with that clear motor, if you see underneath, so small, underneath it seems to have some sort of brown rubber or something underneath it. And I'm almost wondering if this was serviced or taken apart before. I'm not 100% sure yet. As I have come across some buildings that have been redone, because I'm pretty sure Lemax never actually used hot glue. It seemed like everything they did was with hot resin. And since this actually has hot glue here and hot glue here, I'm almost wondering if this has been redone, because they never really used hot resin, hot glue instead of the hot resin. Usually these walls and stuff were always secured with the heat resin, and I've never seen something like that where there's like the rubber wedged in. It's a good idea, but I don't think Lemax actually did it stock. Anyway, what I think I'm going to be doing is, on mine, I did this also, as I carefully went in with like a Q-tip and stuck it in the back and relubricated these exposed gears. I don't know if I can focus in on it, but up in the back, some of those white exposed gears, I think I can carefully lubricate the shafts and those gears just to make sure they're running smooth. And I think though I'll just leave the gearboxes in place. And as far as these ones go, about them being out further, I think we should leave them, because I'll have to tear out the interiors in order to even remove it. And since the gears seem in good working order, I think we should just leave it alone as much as possible so it doesn't make anything worse potentially. Why is it so dark? There you go. So I don't know, these are just my findings so far. I'm gonna keep working at it. As far as the electromagnet goes, I think I can get it going again, unless the computer board fried itself. There's always a chance that on these older boards, because they're kind of like hand soldered, that some of the chips will burn themselves out or fry, and it's already not a good sign that when I turn it on, sometimes, like here, it's not actually turning on, where the computer board is off. It's running the motors and stuff that just go off of the power, but the actual computer board that does the sounds and the controlled motors like the gate and the guillotine are not going. So that's kind of a bad sign, because that can sometimes mean that the computer board is dying. On mine, it also sometimes have this. And after I installed the Arduino, it seemed like it was working better because the Arduino sucked some of the power, and for whatever reason, that helped it. I'm also going to rubbing alcohol clean this because these are always problems, these sound controls. And it's also what controls the on-off. So I think cleaning that can help. I mean, it seems pretty good. There's no crackling, but either way, just to be safe, I like to do that on pretty much all the buildings I have. So yeah, I'll keep working on it. And I noticed they spliced the brown, those are the guillotine wires. It's hard to see because they're all kind of glued, but right here they turned to white wires. So they just did a solder splice, which seems kind of factory-esque. I don't know. Sometimes when you see splices and stuff, it can also mean that it's been refurbished or worked on by someone else. But I can test these to see if I'm getting any power readings when it should be holding the guillotine up. And then if that's the case, that's good, because then I can go ahead and run along the wire and try and see if it's getting power up there. And then if the electromagnet's dead, I don't know if I can replace it because I don't know if I'll be able to find the parts. But it'll probably be a wire breakage somewhere. So